Alrighty then. Are you ready? Okay. Hi, I'm Father Joe Krupp, pastor at Holy Family in Grand Blanc in St. Mark and Goodrich, and I'm here to answer your questions. Now, I've missed Father Sean these last few weeks too. It was so cool when he was on here. So what we need is for everyone who is watching this, who appreciated having someone who was like, say, a good priest on here, make sure and find Father Sean Larkin and verbally abuse him until he permanently relocates to Grand Blanc, Michigan. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see what we got. All right. We have, lots of words. Lots of pretty words. From my understanding of Catholic law on cremation ashes, they are not to be divided or spread, but should be kept intact. If a very small portion were divided for sentimental reasons to family, what happens to that person with the coming of Christ on the last day when the deceased bodies are raised? Hope you can enlighten me. Okay, I can enlighten you. Just picture like my mouth issuing forth light and truth and beauty and goodness and greatness and enlightenment and humility. No? All right. So no, think of it this way, okay? And before I get into that, if you've done cremation and done it differently than the church teaches, you have to let that go, okay? It's already happened. What I want to help us do is understand how we should do it and why, and hopefully this will help you. So the church allows cremation for a couple reasons. We would call those like pastoral reasons. And primarily, I think a lot of it revolves around cost. And why? Well, because frankly, what we do in cremation is simply accelerate a process that's going to happen anyway, right? But if we choose cremation, what we want to do is try to make sure that if it's possible, we have the body in church for the funeral ritual and cremate them afterward. Further, we want to make sure that those cremains, we call them, or cremated ashes, however you want to say it, we want to make sure that they are in one location and then buried in sacred ground. Not divvied up, not all these other things. Why? Simple reasons. First, because, and this is awful, but when we bury cremains or spread them somewhere else, we've taken something sacred and put it in a place that people may not know about later. So truly, I have gotten calls from construction companies where they were digging and smashed open cremains and they felt awful. And it was simple. Someone buried them, but nobody knew. When they're in a sacred place, people know there are dead bodies there and you don't go digging around. And so that's part of the reason, but it doesn't have to do with God's ability to, excuse the phrase, but kind of reassemble us at the second coming. Because as you can imagine, people who've been dead and buried for some time are ash, are dust. So I would not so much fret about the resurrected body. God can pull off anything. It's more an idea that to us we treat dead bodies with great dignity and care. We never say it's just a shell, because it's not. God took on flesh. So our bodies are sacred, and someday those bodies are destined for heaven. When Jesus comes, our body will join back with our soul in the resurrection, and heaven will come down to earth. So there we go. Don't fret about this because of Jesus' inability to regather us, as it were. More think of, we treat our dead bodies with respect, and we put them in marked sacred places so that no one will disturb those sacred dead bodies. So, all right, let's look at what we got here. We'll go from a fat one, like me, to a skinny one, like you. As a pastor, what is your biggest challenge in leading the parish? It's just a lot, that's all. It's a tremendous amount of disparate things, and most of them don't line up with what I'm educated in. I think, well, like I just came from giving someone last rites before this. That's hard on the brain and on the heart to shift from such an intimate and sad but hopeful moment to then sometimes we go right from there to a wedding. That's tough. and it's a lot to keep in your head. And most Catholics do not suffer in silence. So anyway, I love it. It's a riot. Biggest challenge is just it's a lot, but I'm happy and God provides, and I'm surrounded by beautiful, wonderful, amazing people, except for the person holding the camera. So okay, now she's making a face at me, which means we got to pause. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you got any more questions, submit those puppies through our Church of the Holy Family Facebook page, and we'll get right after them. And thank you so much for supporting this. We're glad you're watching it. Spread the word, and have a great day.